Hello. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me and there's no issues. Don't know why my camera is so small on this particular screen. Hello. Welcome everybody. We are just getting started. Just wanted to say hello and we can all hear you and you can all see me. That's great. I don't know why I was so small on the screen, but that's all fixed now. I'm just going to move us over to the other screen so we can say hello to Georgia and Sean. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here. This is great. Thank you for your patience. We're just running through some of the questions we were asked. So I'm going to move over to the next screen and we can say hello to Sean and Georgia. So 1 second and...
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh yeah, there's about a 30-second delay between what is happening with us and then what's happening over on Twitch.
They can hear me now. Hello. Can you hear me now? I've put my microphone back on. They're all saying that I've lost sound. They can hear you, but they can hear me. Yes, okay, fantastic. See, this is why technical issues are fantastically horrible. Okay, cool. So, thank you everyone for being here. I can't believe there are like 29 people all here for this. This is great. Thank you so much. So I guess we should introduce our guest today. I think you know me and Georgia by now. So obviously we are the co-creators of the Holmwood Foundation. We've also written quite a few Big Finish audios. But today we're here talking to one of our leads in Holmwood, so the lovely Sean Carlsen. Hello, Sean. Thank you for coming today.
Hello. Oh, it's my pleasure. It's lovely to be here. Thank you, guys. And hello to everyone who's joined us.
Yes. They're all saying hurrah in the chat, so that's all good. They're all very pleased for you to be here as well. So we have some questions.
I'm allowed to enjoy a glass of wine while we do this.
Of course, please do.
I'm officially off.
I'll drink my tea in solidarity. All good. So yeah, first things first then. We've got a few questions for you. So I think George and I are going to take in turns and just
Yes, I should
ask you one
probably
each.
also get the questions up. That would be a very good idea.
That would be a good idea. So yes, so I'll start then, and then you can let us know the answers. They can be as long as you want, as short as you want. Let us know, and we can move on to the next one. But the first question we have is: have you ever read the Bram Stoker's Dracula novel?
It's a question for me.
It is a question for you. Sorry, it's a question for you. These are all questions for you.
I was waiting to hear George's answer, and I was thinking to myself, well, of course she has.
Too many times.
You know what? I'm somewhat embarrassed and ashamed to say I haven't. I never have, and yet I absolutely adore all the Dracula movies that I've seen. You know, we can come to that later. Yeah, I mean, or I might as well come to it now. Being an actor of a certain age, I am 55. So way back when, I don't know, I think I was probably about 10 or something. It was probably late 70s, and they used to do this horror double bill on TV back then, when there were only 3 channels. And it would be a Universal black and white film, like The Mummy or something, you know, or a Lon Chaney Jr. film, followed by a Hammer film in glorious Technicolor. And that's when I think that's where I first started to watch Dracula films and the various Frankenstein films or Plague of the Zombies and all the rest of it. And I absolutely adored them. And I used to collect. I remember this. I was thinking of this the other day. I was walking through a cemetery, appropriately enough, in Newport the other day, walking a greyhound called Orla with my wife. She's my wife's sister's dog. Anyway, so we're walking Orla, and I suddenly had a memory. We walked past a newsagent's, and I thought, oh, I remember going into that newsagent's, and I used to buy Hammer Horror trading cards in there in the late 70s. I used to adore those. I don't know if you've ever come across them. They're probably highly collectible now.
I was just thinking that you could
looking at them.
probably sell them for quite a bit if you still had them.
Oh, I haven't. But yeah, no, I was an absolute Hammer geek. I really was, and still am. And obviously, it's in the news a lot, online a lot lately, hasn't it? It's that wonderful documentary which you guys went to see.
Yes, we went to go see
I'm
the
telling you, right?
premiere.
Brilliant. So there we are. Long rambling answer. Never read it. I've read Frankenstein, but we're not here to talk about that. I've never read Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'm ashamed to say.
The chat say maybe it's time to give it a read.
I should give it a whirl, shouldn't I? Yeah.
Especially
I will.
as you are playing Jonathan as well. It'd be interesting to hear your take after playing him and reading in the book. Cool. So next question, Georgia, do you want to pose this one to Sean?
Of course. Who is your favourite character from the story of the Holmwood Foundation so far?
It's chock full of great characters, and I think what you guys have done is absolutely fantastic. It's a wonderful piece of writing. And as someone that hasn't read Dracula but loves the Dracula films and stories, what you've done in creating this kind of modern setting, a kind of Dracula sequel. But in what you've done, I just love Jeremy. I love playing him. I just think he's such a good character. His roles in audio drama, you just think, it's a gift. Just have a lot of fun playing it, and I did. I really enjoyed it. I honestly really hope we get to do more, because I would love to play Jeremy again. I really would. So thank you. Yeah, that's my favourite character. I love him.
We've got all of our scripts for season 1 written, so hopefully if we make the money in a week, which is a plug for the Kickstarter, then we can send you season 1 and we can show you where he's going.
I must say, I don't want to bring everyone down, but I meant to retweet about that today, but with the news events of today, I just couldn't face even looking at social media. It's just absolutely heartbreaking, bewildering, sad, but there we are. We've all just got to stick together, and I find myself thinking of my friends in America as well. I haven't spoken to anyone yet, other than Sean Lyon was sounding understandably heartbroken on Facebook earlier. There we are. Anyway, sorry.
That's why we wanted to do this. We wanted to keep doing this chat today, so we could have something nice and distracting and have a little chat.
Yes, absolutely.
We hope we bring a little bit of joy on a very good day.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of joy, you mentioned obviously that you love horror, the horror genre. Do you have a favourite horror movie?
Absolutely do, and I adore that genre. I remember when we were recording one of the Gallifreys last year, I think it was, and we went out for dinner, didn't we?
We did.
Heather.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was just so interested to finally meet you, Georgia, because I know what a fan of that genre you are, and I am too.
Yes.
Yeah, I have been since I was about 10, because of those horror double bills. That's what did it for me. I've loved it ever since. My favourite, it's very difficult to say your favourite horror film, because you say my favourite zombie film, or my favourite werewolf film, or my favourite vampire film. But if you're going to talk about this, and I can only say one horror film that is my absolute favourite, it's An American Werewolf in London.
That's a good one.
Very cool. Very, very
The
cool.
amazing
Slaughtered Lamb isn't far from here, because obviously, a lot of it was filmed in South Wales, doubling as the North Yorkshire moors, and the Slaughtered Lamb, and the graveyard next door, the little red phone box that John Woodvine speaks to Jenny Agutter from that phone box. It's all there, except it's not a pub. Obviously, it's somebody's house. But,
I will confess, I have never seen American Werewolf in London. I've only ever seen clips.
Oh,
so it's on my list. It's lots of
Think
horror
of
is on my
yourself.
list. I know, I am very much so, and I am a big werewolf fan as well. So the fact that I've read Dracula, but I haven't seen American Werewolf in
I was
London.
going to say, you're such a big werewolf fan. I
Yeah.
would accept you not having read, well, not at this point, but previously, not having read Dracula.
It's certainly on my list. So don't worry. Maybe Georgia can convince me to watch it next week if I can find it somewhere, and we can watch me live stream it.
Just noticed something. That there's a card here, and I was just wondering. I've just noticed that people can read.
No. I could barely see what it was. You're fine.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Because it was a card from a theatre director, and it's a very lovely message from a play I did 2 years ago. But I just suddenly thought, was thinking, is that something personal?
Your address.
Use this and zoom in.
Let me know if my my laptop fan is too loud. Chat. I'm really conscious that it's currently trying to take off, and I've got my Rode mic here, but it's you can generally pick it up. So
it's not too bad. I've heard it. I've heard it in worse situations. It's.
Oh, that's good.
It's okay right now. We can hear your voice, and it's fine. Don't worry.
That's good.
So I think Georgia, you have the next question.
Right. The wine fridge is just next to my voiceover booth. Just handy. He likes it chilled, and I like red.
So I think we've answered what your favourite Dracula movie is.
Favourite Dracula movie. It's going to be a Hammer, and I think quite possibly it would have to be the first one. Yeah. So the first Dracula, Hammer version of Dracula. I never cared much for the Bela Lugosi. It's very slow, and I'm sure for some people it's wonderful. It's a classic, but you do it for me. But the Hammer version with Christopher Lee, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that's going to be it for me. Then again, there's been so many really fine versions. I do remember watching, and again as a kid, I remember I think it was probably about 1978 or 79. BBC adaptation.
Yes,
which I think was quite faithful.
Yes,
to the man that hasn't read it.
No,
it's
the most
faithful adaptation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved that at the time, and I haven't revisited it. I was just a kid, but I do remember that was really good. I'm just trying to think. The Mark Gatiss thing. Yeah.
Dracula 2020.
I love that. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I love anything Mark Gatiss does.
It haunts me.
Same there. You literally sort of, been at the same party, or walked past each other in the corridors of the Moat Studios. And I've just never, plucked up the courage to say, "I love you. I love your work. I love you." Look at this strange Welshman just going, "Mark, I love you. I love you. I want to hug you. I love you like a brother. Come here."
Beautiful.
Big Kutch.
We met him very briefly at the Big Finish party a while ago, and that was a surreal experience.
When I couldn't make it to.
Yeah.
Oh, you see again. I should have been there. I know I saw him at one, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, and I was having a drink with Louise Jameson. And I mentioned to Lou, I said, "I've never met Mark," and there he was just over there. And she said, of course, they're big mates. She said, "I'll introduce you." I said, "Really? Oh, go on then." And we sort of walked up, and he was surrounded by this admiring throng. I sort of hung back a bit and waited, and then in the end I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." Because he was just being mobbed,
Gosh, yeah. Oh my.
Anyway, we've gone off, haven't we?
We have gone off. Let's go on to the next question. So, people have asked, they would love to know what your favourite scene to record was for Holmwood.
I loved all the two-hander stuff because, it is pretty much a two-hander. I really did. But I've got to say, that scene where Jeremy's trying to get through to the Foundation, and that's the expletive moment as well.
It is the moment where it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
That's the one. I love that. Did I record a little demo for that? I think when we were.
You did, yes. When we were
Yeah.
first trying to, we were first writing, we wrote the first draft of the script, and then we were like, "Would you like to play Jeremy Jonathan? This is sort of how he speaks currently in the script. Could you let us know how you would play him?" And I think we sent you that little voicemail that he leaves his dad.
Mm-hmm.
I realise now, Georgia, it was just a very subtle way of auditioning me.
I mean,
you were our only choice.
You are our
for
only
Jeremy.
choice for Jeremy, without a doubt. You are part of the
just
reason.
record these pieces for us, how would you play it? Just is he good enough?
Oh.
Should we go with this guy? I don't know. It's Sean or the other guy. Oh, the other guy's not available. Let's go with Sean.
I mean,
you were our first choice for Jeremy. When we were writing him, we wrote him with you in mind. So we're so grateful that you said yes.
And
my pleasure.
The chat are also telling us that it's their favourite scene as well. We have loved the scene, loved the phone booth moment, best scene, love that scene, literally the best part. You are hitting the nail on the head with the favourite scene to record. I think it was one of the best moments for me and Georgia as well. Like, kind of not quite locking eyes because we couldn't see each other in the recording, but I think there was definitely like a text between us, just like, "Oh my god, he said the phone booth bit," and it was good. It was a good time. So yeah, I'm glad.
That's the important thing, isn't it? If our viewers, our listeners, our audience like it, then that's great. Yeah, diolch yn fawr pawb. Yeah.
So good.
The people that.
And hopefully we'll have many more disgruntled expletive scenes for Jeremy to go through.
Oh, let's hope so.
Yes. Yeah, a question from Georgia, if there is one.
Is there anything in particular you do to help to get into character as Jeremy?
Not really. I mean, with audio, it's so with Narvin, for example. That's a character I kind of know inside out. It's like putting on a pair of comfy shoes or something. You just step back into the role and you're instantly there. Yeah, with creating a new character, I think you guys kind of helped me, because actually I was joking earlier about auditioning for it, but no, when you asked me to record those pieces, it was good, because we were trying out different things, and you gave me some guidelines as to how you felt he should be. I think my initial instinct was sort of in the right area, and that's just good writing. When you read something, you instantly think, okay, I think I know how this character sounds. I think I know what's driving him, or what's frustrating him, or what his quirks and foibles are, and so on. So I just kind of went with it, and you sort of helped to guide me in the right direction, and I think my instinct was going in the right direction as well. So I don't know if there's any kind of preparation involved, really. It's just trusting the script, and just getting to the truth of the script, and trying to the best way you possibly can. It's different. It's very different. All areas of acting, whether it's stage, audio, and film, very different disciplines. They have things in common, but they all have you have different approaches to them. And you're learning all the time. I'm 55. You don't learn. No one can teach you to act. You don't learn to act. You don't go to drama school to learn to act. You spend your whole life, your whole career, learning to act, and every job is a learning experience. And you're never quite the finished article. You're just always, I guess, absorbing like a sponge, and learning, and hopefully growing and getting better at what you do. It's like film. I for years I felt, well, I'm confident that I'm good on stage, and over the years, thanks to Big Finish, I feel I've become confident in what I can do in audio. It's only in fairly recent years that I've grown to be confident on film. So now I think I know what I'm doing now in front of a camera. So it's experience. That's the thing. Sorry if that's a long rambling
No,
answer.
no, it's
but-
nice. It's a lovely answer. Thank you so much. I think it's my turn for a question. So, it kind of like builds off of that actually. Like, is it ever difficult playing a character who is just not nice? And how so? How do you get over that?
I think it's a bit of a gift actually. If you're playing someone that's really far removed from yourself and someone that's not nice, I think I kind of relish those challenges. Did a film just over a year ago, I think it was, maybe longer, called The Worm of Bulk-Pembaris, and it was a Welsh folk horror. Mm. And I didn't say much in it. The character I played, Di, was a man of few words. Kind of, he was a cruel, sadistic kind of character. And within this little film, basically, we apprehend this guy, this poor young kid, who, for whatever reason, has to be punished and sacrificed. And he gets beaten up, and we take him up a mountain, and I tie him, to a tree, and we, sort of string him up and leave him, to be torn apart by some awful beast. So that's basically it. But for the other two guys, three characters that do this, that carry out this sort of ritual of killing, and for the other two guys, it's a sort of reluctant duty. For me, clearly Di loves it. He relishes the violence and takes a sick pleasure in that cruelty. And that's as far removed from ordinary people as you can get. Certainly, that's far removed from me. But it's a real, I don't know. It's quite exciting to sort of play a part like that because it's just so far removed from you. And I rarely get the chance to play really objectionable characters. I think a lot of stuff that I've done over the years, they're characters that either Tally, for example, usually I used to play like, I don't know, nice middle class dads or policemen or lawyers or barristers or whatever, and then it's only sort of in recent years that I've occasionally got cast as a real badass, so to speak. And The Worm of Bulk-Pembaris was an example of that. And a film director called Julian Richards, who directed a lot of horror films, we did a film together years ago, and he texted me. He was at a film festival called Abattoir, and he said, "Oh, I've just seen your film." He said, "I didn't know you could play badass," And I thought, "Oh, that's nice. That's a compliment coming from Julian," And I was like, "Yeah, of course I can." You just don't get the chance to. So, what was the question? Do I like? I love playing. I love playing bad guys. I do. Yeah, I love playing characters that are far removed from myself, and I'd love more of that. Most definitely. Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, I
I
think
suppose with Jeremy and Jonathan, you get to play both a fairly questionably great character and then just the loveliest man alive, or not so alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Jeremy's great. He's just, kind of wonder in different circumstances, and I'm sure we may well find this out at some point. If we get to make more episodes. But I find myself wondering, well, what's Jeremy like when he's not in this high stress situation? He's probably a bit objectionable anyway. He's probably up himself, and a bit difficult and prickly, and yeah. What's he like on Christmas Day? It's probably really miserable. Yeah. I should say, coming back to talking about playing those badass characters, I literally just this week did a little TV thing, and hence the skinhead, as you can see. Currently, currently looking like a skinhead because I was playing another bad boy. I might just stick with this. I might just keep it.
People will then just keep carrying you as bad guys and badasses if you keep the skinhead. Maybe.
This might end up being Narvin's new Time War look. You know, he's now got a skinhead. You know, because he hasn't got time to get a haircut.
Just shave it all off, Narvin. Okay, cool.
Feel it, just shave it all off. For goodness sake.
Oh, okay. Maybe another question is probably in order. Georgia, do you want to do this one?
I think we skipped one just before the one previously, but it's I think you probably sort of already answered it. Who do you prefer playing, Jonathan or Jeremy?
Oh, Jeremy, most certainly, yeah. I mean, Jonathan's lovely, you know, and gentle, kind, thoughtful. But yeah, you know, Jeremy's just almost fun. Easy answer.
Fair enough. Hopefully we get to see all sides of Jonathan and Jeremy going forward into season 1. We hope.
Yeah.
Another little plug. Please, guys. Please give us money so we can make season 1. Cool. Let's have a look at... We have some other questions. So, I think you've probably answered this because you haven't read the book. So who is your favourite character in Dracula? So the characters that are within the Dracula ethos, I guess, if you don't read the book. You know, who would your favourite character be?
I think Van Helsing I've always found a appealing, interesting character. Again, coming back to the horror, you know, it was almost always Peter Cushing, and I loved his Van Helsing. Suddenly remembered the Francis Ford Coppola one, of course, with Gary Oldman. I'd forgotten about that. It's a bit, you know... I went to the cinema to see that. What was that, 1990? I'd have to see it again. Yeah, I don't think it was great, was it?
It's a beautiful film, but it is chaos.
I think the casting is gorgeous, but there is,
Well, apart from Keanu Reeves, which is just a very strange choice for Jonathan Harker.
Do you know,
lovely man, but strange choice.
That's it. I think it's not his fault. It's unfair casting, isn't it? Because I mean, you can either do a UK accent or you can't, or you can either do an American accent or you can't. And sometimes I just think, well, why put a person in that position? You know. But then again, I guess, you know, he's an actor. If I couldn't do an accent, and you know, they're offering me this lovely part and all this money to do it, would I be, you know, brave enough to just go, no, I can't do this? I don't know. It's like Kevin Costner was Robin Hood, wasn't he? Prince of Thieves.
Oh, yes. He didn't try and do an accent, did he? He was just doing an American accent. Yeah.
He said at one point, "This is English courage, Nottingham." It's Nottingham.
People in the chat seem to agree that the 92 Dracula is questionable. For lots of different reasons. It looks gorgeous. I can see why people, as a set piece, it looks beautiful. It's so well made, but it's definitely something.
Isn't it? Buttigieg. Right there.
God, yes.
I think that's how we should be designing Dracula's head from now on. He's got the Gary Oldman hair.
God.
Yes.
We have had some wonderful fan art of Dracula's head, and Maddie and Jeremy that will at some point we'll show you maybe after the call, which is great. Which you reminded me of. But yes, another question. This actually goes back to something you mentioned before. But is there a tip that you have for aspiring voice actors?
I would say listen to as much. I mean, if you're talking voice actors, as opposed to voiceover artists. You know, so many people that have become voiceover artists, and they're not necessarily actors. They're just people that, you know, narrate stuff or sell stuff or whatever. You know, but voice actors, that's different. Um, yeah, that's tricky. So, for example, whether you're a voice actor or just an actor in general, you need to go to drama school, and I don't know. I don't know if you do. Um, on the one hand, it will give you experience if you haven't managed to sort of be in plays, through youth theatre or whatever, then you'll get that stage experience at drama school. That's important. I spoke to some young actors recently, and I said to them, "Well, I guess it's all changed from my day. I was at drama school 30 odd years ago at Royal Welsh College. I spoke to these young actors that had recently left college, and I said, I guess you do a lot of film experience then, And they went, no. I thought, oh, okay, so they're still not teaching you that, These are things, I guess, that you just learn. You get out there, you learn on set, So you need to go to drama school. I'm not sure if you do. You've got to get experience somewhere. But I would say, if we're being specific about voice acting, to immerse yourself in it. Listen to as much as you possibly can. Listen to things like the Holmwood Foundation and Gallifrey, and all these other wonderful audio dramas that are out there. Yeah, just listen to as much as you possibly can. Immerse yourself in it. Do your research. Learn, and then good at networking. That's I was always hopeless at networking. Talking to the right people, approaching the right people, and knowing how to approach them. I'm sure there are books on it. I wish I'd read them because I'm terrible at it. It's too late now. Yeah, that's all I can say really, and best of luck to you.
It's a tricky industry.
Why not? Follow your dreams. That's the important thing. Whatever you do in life, whether you want to be a voice actor or whatever it is you want to do, you want to be looking back and thinking, well, I did this. Only I'd followed my dreams, what would have happened? So, chase them, see where you get to, that's the important thing.
That's so lovely. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. It's very nice. Yeah, I think it's George's go to give a question. This one's a bit out there, I'm afraid to say.
So, thank you to Tal for this one. It's one of the producers on Read Dracula, which is another Dracula podcast. And they say, would you rather fight one horse-sized Dracula head or 100 duck-sized Dracula heads?
Just picturing the scene. Horse-sized Dracula head.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking a horse.
The size of a horse. Big head.
Shire horse. An average horse, that's still a massive head.
It's still a big head.
How mobile is this massive head? You could dance around it. You could get behind it. It might have a job kind of like shuffling around to counteract whatever you're going to do.
God.
Yeah. Go for the ear. Go for the ear canal. Ram a stake in there, something like that. Yeah, straight to the book.
I'm gonna lose it. It's great.
I think I would deal with the horse-sized head, because all those little 100, right?
Yeah.
100, that's carnage.
And ducks are quite big, especially for a head.
Hell, isn't
it? I agree. We were talking about this before we got on stream, and I agree. Big head's the way to go.
Big head versus little heads.
It's a wonderful question. So whoever came up with that, thank you.
Thank you, Tal.
Thank you, Tal. Thank you, Tal, so much. Okay. So next question then. So if you had infinite resources, what role in what medium are you still willing to play? This is from one of our other backers as well.
Willing to? I'm willing to do anything. I mean, no, that's true. I've got more selective over the years. I mean, so I'm going to go off on when I get witchering, but this is what I do. When I first left drama school for many years, as far as theatre went, I'd just do any old shit that came along. I really would. Just because you want to be working, you want to be employed. Now I don't. I'm quite selective about theatre. I'll only do a play if it's something I really want to do. I'm really excited about, passionate about, because you're committing a good chunk of your time doing a play. Even if it's a short contract, that still might be like 8-10 weeks or something. So so just thinking about the question again. So if I could do anything in any medium,
basically, if it was like if you could just wish to have the perfect role,
no.
what would that be?
Okay.
This is what I understand from the question, anyway. So if yeah.
Okay. Unrealistic wish. Obviously, I would love to play Doctor. Of course, I would. And that's a little dream I carried, a little pipe dream I carried for many years, until a man by the name of Gary Russell crushed my dream. And I was at one of my first conventions ever, and I just said this I shared this with Gary. I think David Tennant had just become the Doctor at the time, and Gary said, "You'll never play the Doctor," so might as well forget that.
Gary.
He wasn't being cruel; he was just being realistic, and he was right. So there we are.
Oh.
Yeah.
And of course, you have been in Doctor Who. You have been in Doctor Who.
Yeah, and okay, yes, and realistic dream. I'd like to be in Doctor Who again. I don't see, that's not too much to ask, is it? Yeah, I'd love to be in Doctor Who again. That's feasible, I hope. Playing the Doctor, that's probably not likely to happen. Narvin being in Doctor Who, that's probably not likely to happen, but that's definitely, a dream I would love to see come true. And then, I guess what I would really love, I've done a few films up on the shelf here. Let's pick one up here. There we are. There we are. There's a horror film I did. Yeah. Yeah, I've done a few films, kind of supporting leads and stuff. I had one film lead, and I got paid for it. And it was a decent-ish film. After I got paid, the company went bust. Thank God it was just after I got paid. So I did get paid. The film got shelved, and it will never see the light of day. So, there goes my one lead. However, to that question, I would love to play another in a movie, but a big movie. I'd love that. Yeah.
We want that for you, Sean. We want that for you. The chat are telling Gary off, which is quite funny. They're all like, "Gary, no." But they are saying,
I love Gary, by the way.
Yeah, no. We also love Gary.
We all love Gary, yes. We know Gary is.
And someone is saying, to be fair, Narvin, Gary did give you Narvin, who is truly one of the most beloved extended universe Doctor Who characters. So, swings and roundabouts. You've got a figure. Yeah, there he is.
And Nav is saying, "Thank you, Gary."
We're absolutely clipping this segment for our YouTube channel, just so you know. Fantastic.
I'm sat in my voice booth. This is where I generally record in studio. I always love to be in studio, but just occasionally I have to do stuff from home. And the recent wonderful Echoes Through Eternity, which you guys were involved with, I recorded that here in the voice booth, and surrounded in this padded booth by lots of Marvin sort of memorabilia. Look at that, isn't that lovely? Somebody embroidered that and sent that from Germany. Marvin. Eventually, you can see. Yeah, it's lovely, and there's various Marvin dolls and things up there, and I can't reach it from here, but there's a Staser up there as well. That's amazing. Somebody made a Staser, replica Staser. Wow. Yeah.
Very cool. We do have one more question, and then we have a question in the chat. So I think you may have already answered this one, but you might be able to elaborate. The question we've got is, what's your favourite vampire-related media? AKA, which TV series, movie, book related to vampires are your favourite? So anything to do with vampires. Is it still the Hammer Dracula, or is it anything else?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, another one, again, I remember as a teenager watching Salem's Lot. That was fantastic.
Oh, I
And
love
these
Salem's
things
Lot.
like that and the BBC Dracula, I've not revisited since. So it will be interesting, 30, 40 later, to look at those things again and see how they stand up. But Salem's Lot was fantastic, I remember. That was really creepy. I loved that. Nosferatu, the original 1922 one, I love that as well. And there was a remake of that, wasn't there, in '79?
Yes, and then a new one coming out
Next week?
Right.
in
Yeah.
December? Or is it
No.
this week?
I think it might
Yeah.
come out in the States very soon, and then we get it in December,
Mm.
which is usual for us,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. So I think, probably my favourite vampire-related stuff. I never got into Buffy, to be honest. Yeah, didn't really watch that. So I think I'm going to say the Hammer films. Yeah, the Holmwood Foundation.
Thank you so much.
The right answer, thank you.
So we have a few questions in the chat before we finish questions. Then we have two little bits before we finish. So someone has asked, how long did it take you to put together your voice booth?
Oh, good question. Well, so basically, as you know, Theo, I am hopeless with tech. The complete opposite of Narvin. I am just a complete Luddite when it comes to technical stuff. So, it was a bit of a stretch, me, putting together a voice booth and actually learning how to use it. That was the hardest bit, actually, not putting it together. It was funny. I had a builder in, and we were just having some cupboards sort of built in, extra storage space, and we wanted somewhere to put we've got a big fridge freezer next door. Just didn't want it on view, so it sits behind a nice partition with doors. And when we were doing that, I just said, I'm going to use this as a voice booth. It's time I got my arse and gear and actually, voice booth, so I can work from home and do more audio work. That was it, really. I just researched it. A couple of friends of mine, both of whom are musicians, and one of whom has a really good studio that I used to record at. They kind of advised me, and it was just a question of getting a MacBook Pro, which I'm sat in front of. I've got a Lewitt Pure wide condenser mic, sat on a boom arm with a guard, Scarlett 4i4 interface. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. This stuff is like, voodoo to me, but I've learned how to use it, just about, and then I just got the whole thing padded. It's carpeted and there's like, black foam padding on the ceiling everywhere. So it's got, sound deadening is important, and it's a good space. Yeah, it works. But, I've heard of people recording under a duvet, as long as you've got
That's how I do it.
Is important.
True story. My little Kickstarter speech that I did for Holmwood was done under a sheet at George's house.
Yep.
And it was horrible. I hated every second of that. I was recording under a blanket just...
During the heat wave.
During the heat wave, just like going, please support our Kickstarter, while melting. Slowly disappearing. But no, it was great. I mean, it was great fun, but I couldn't do that all day. That I did that for like 10 minutes, and I was like, nah. Nope. Cool. We do have one last question in the chat, which is quite a funny one. Which is, let me just go back and make sure I'm wording it correctly, because it's causing conversation in the chat, which is, question for Sean: would you rather fist fight Narvin or Jeremy?
Would I rather fist fight Narvin?
Or Jeremy?
Me personally?
You personally.
Oh. I've got a lot of love and affection for Narvin, so the thought of, that's why I was so shocked and taken aback when you said that, the thought of touching Narvin. No, I love him. like punching yourself.
Just punch Jeremy. It's fine. We know what you're trying to get at.
Jeremy's
like,
asking for a slap, isn't he? At times, I mean, Maddie is she's so restrained, isn't she, and unflappable. I love her.
Very very.
And I feel like Narvin knows how to fight. He's been around a while.
I think I give Jeremy a slap.
Yeah, I think Jeremy deserves a slap, to be fair. And to be honest, whilst Narvin did start out as a kind of office clerk, he has developed quite a bit since then. So I think he could handle someone in a fight.
Yeah.
Just about, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. Series 1 to 3. Yeah. I think I probably think differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Narvin now.
Cool. Everyone is very there. There's some lovely comments in the chat. Early Gallifrey Narvin would go down like a sack of potatoes. No hurting Narvin. Maddie deserves to go ape shit. Maddie deserves a pay rise. Yes. Time War Narvin can definitely handle himself. Yeah. All very good. Lots of positive responses in the chat. And we now have a Sonic as well. Very good.
Not any old Sonic. This is Narvin's Sonic. That is.
Oh, I remember you sending me pictures of that. It's gorgeous.
Time War.
That's very cool. So there's 2 more things left that we wanted to do with you. I don't know if you have the document up, but basically, since May, since we kind of like formed this entire project, whilst we were waiting for the release of the pilot, we shared kind of in-character world-building extracts, and some of them were emails, some of them were letters, like, for example, from Mina to Arthur, and stuff like that early on when the Foundation was being formed. But one of them was from Jonathan Harker III, so Jeremy's dad, sending Jeremy a memo, and Jeremy replying to the memo as a voicemail. And our backers have asked very kindly if you would be okay to read out Jeremy's voicemail response, which is what we've highlighted for you in the questions we sent. If you're okay with it. Did you want me to read out the memo first? Unless Georgia would like to read the memo out. You have a much better voice than me. I don't know which is better.
I've got my.
Oh, your mic is doing a thing. So,
yeah.
See what? I'll read the memo so everyone can remember what it is that Jeremy is responding to, and then Sean, if you'd be okay to read the voicemail, would you be okay with that? Yeah. So.
Here it is. Okay, I've got it. Right.
Cool. So I'll read out the memo first for context. Yeah. So I'll read the.
Not all actors can sight read. It's a skill.
Very cool.
Oh, right. Okay. I tell you what. Just do a little bit of talking while I quickly go.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, we've of course cast Jonathan Harker III now. I think we've announced it on all of our socials, but if anyone hasn't seen, we've cast Andrew Biss as Johnny 3, as we call him on our socials, and we're very, very excited for you all to meet him. Hopefully later in the series.
Yes, we've cast a lot of different people, actually. We've got the lovely Basil Waite joining us as Tom Van Helsing, and we have Michelle Kelly joining us as Henry Martin. This is just I'm doing off the top of my head, so I haven't got the list in front of me, but we've got some amazing people joining us from all over the place. We have Kareem Confley playing Dave. We're not elaborating on who Dave is. You'll find out who Dave is soon enough. We also have the lovely David Alt playing Dr. Timothy Lake. And these are all, just for Sean's benefit, they are people that are in the independent podcast community who've quite popular in different circles. Some of them are new, some of them are, have been around for a little while, but everyone seems to be very excited to join the project.
And we're so happy to have them on board. Hopefully on board. Unfortunately, it's very much
Kickstarter
dependent on whether we get the Kickstarter, but we're really excited to what we might be able to do with them.
Cool.
Right, memo.
So should I read the memo bit and then you read his response? Okay, cool. So, from the desk of Jonathan Harker III, 14th of May, 2024. Jeremy, I have not yet received confirmation regarding your attendance at the Carpathians trip. This is very disappointing behaviour. Please respond to this memo with an answer by the end of the day. I would like you to consider the fact that if you do not attend this trip, your request to be transferred to London may well be put on hold. Arthur Jones will have to travel in your stead, and we will need someone of similar standing to take his place while I am also away. You are not the head of this company. You do not simply get to decide what you do and do not wish to do. I await your reply, J.H.
Mr. Harker, thank you so much for your unexpected memo in my inbox this morning. It is, as always, a pleasure to hear from you. Regrettably, I will be unable to attend the Carpathian trip, something I believe I have already made exceptionally clear to both yourself and the Amsterdam branch. Once of time, on my replacement, I will be staying here. You cannot make me go. Shall be transferring to London in July as intended. I expect Mr. Jones back at his job in the archives by then. Thank you for your time.
That was great.
Gotta be careful not to drift into Narvin there.
That was so good. Thank you so much. And the chat is buzzing. Thank you. That was really lovely of you. Yeah, and we can clip that and share with our socials later, which would be lovely. Yes, thank you so much for doing that. I know we did kind of put you on the spot, so thank you so much for doing that for us. And everyone was saying it's incredible in the chat. There is one other thing that we'd like you to do. It's something very small. It's just afterwards. So as a special treat for those who've joined us, you will be the first people to hear the exclusive of the episode titles that we plan to have for our for our season 1 episodes, which we thought would be a really nice thing to do today, to build up some fun excitement and to get you guys speculating on what's to come. Do you have anything to add, Georgia, before we let Sean announce these episode titles?
I don't think so. Just thank you, Sean, for letting us put you on the spot. We're very sorry.
Honestly, good problem.
So just under your little cool, Sean, the extract, you can see it. So if you'd like to just read out our titles, please, for the chat, that would be very great.
Okay, so what we've had on episode 1, Across the Moors. Next up is episode 2, Train Fiend. Episode 3, Convalescence. Episode 4, like the sound of this one, The Food. Episode 5, Wildlife. Episode 6, Database. And episode 7, is that wonderful, To the Lighthouse.
Fantastic. So just in case, because I know the internet can be a bit squiffy, just so we have episode 2, Train Fiend, episode 3, Convalescence, episode 4, Freezer Food, episode 5, Wildlife, episode 6, Database, and episode 7, To the Lighthouse. So yeah, the chat has gone insane over Train Fiend, which we're probably going to have to explain to Sean. So Sean, in the Dracula book, Mina, at the very beginning of the book, she is very set on helping Jonathan with his time schedules, like his train schedules and stuff for travelling, and it becomes a bit of a trait that she just always knows about the train schedules for the entirety of the book, until I think it's not long ago, I think it was a couple of days ago, she actually calls herself a train fiend. It becomes a thing she says in the book. It's phenomenal. So yes, so we have called episode 2 Train Fiend, for lots of reasons, but people will find out why. Hopefully, if we get to make these damn episodes, which hopefully we will, but we just wanted to really share that with everyone. And I think just looking at the chat, I know you guys unfortunately can't see it. It is on Twitch. they are exploding with excitement, and I'm sure will build a lot of buzz. So we will be finishing the chat soon. Is there anything that anyone else would like to add or say to Sean before we finish? Is there anything that you would like to say, Sean, as we finish, just in regards to the Kickstarter, or anything you would like to say to the Holmwood fans who've come to listen to you talk today?
Well, just a massive thank you for the support, and fingers crossed we can deliver more for you. But as always, whether it's Gallifrey or Holmwood or any of these projects, we do it for the love of what we're doing. This really is a passion project. So really hope we can deliver more. But thank you for all your support so far. Fingers crossed there'll be more.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the moment, just so we know where we stand for the recording, we have £14,837 in the bank, which means we're 64% funded, with 7 days to go. So we still have 7 days to get, as close as we can to just get that extra mile, to get £23,000. Is there anything you'd like to add, Georgia?
No, just thank you to everyone for supporting us in the way that you have so far. We're amazed and so grateful with how much you guys seem to really like Holmwood, and all of the fan art you've done for us, all the fan theories that you've had, and pledging your donations as well. We really appreciate that. It's even £5 is a lot to give, and we're really grateful. We don't take it for granted that you've agreed to help us in this way. And thank you so much to Sean, both for joining us today and for joining us as Jeremy. You've really brought his character to life, and I think chat will agree with me. He's a fan favourite of the Holmwood Foundation.
Yes, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm going to turn off the stream in a second. So thank you guys so much for your time. And what I'll do, Sean, is if you hang around just so we make sure the stream is off before we say goodbye and everything else. But to the chat and the stream, thank you so much again. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you guys are. And we will be announcing the episode titles once we get off the stream with some title cards that were made earlier. So you can have a look at those when they get released. So thank you so much. They'll be on social media very, very soon. And have a nice day. Thank you all. Goodbye.